Waiting for me?
You're tardy for the party.
My question is the same. Sorry. 10 seconds?
All right, good evening. We're going to start the October the 18th meeting. We have an invocation by Brad Lomneck, then the stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the roll call. Pledge of Allegiance will be by myself. Stand, please.
You all are Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord God. Thank you for the commissioners as they do the work of the city, Lord. Thank you for our first responders, Lord. We ask you to bless them, Lord, every night and day that they're out. Bless the citizens of our city, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Commissioner Brunson,
Here?
Commissioner Wilson,
Here?
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Ferstner,
Here.
Commissioner Oliver.
Here.
All right, presentations and proclamations. We have one proclamation, Week of the Family, November the 5th. I'll read this. Whereas the city of Ocoee is blessed with a multitude of families, an essential part of the culture, social, and spiritual fabric of our community. And whereas the city of Ocoee Commission recognizes that strong families are at the center of communities, that children live better lives when their families are strong, and that families are strong when they live in communities that connect them to economic opportunities, social networks, and services. And whereas the theme for this year's Week of the Family is My Family, Endless Possibilities. And whereas we hope you will consider every day how you can be present with your family, your parents, siblings, and children, if you have them. And during the week of November the 5th through November the 12th, 2022, City of Ocoee residents should take the time to honor the importance of families and recommit to enhancing and extending the special connections that support and strengthen them. Now, therefore, the City Commission of the City of Ocoee does hereby declare the week of November the 5th through 12th, 2022 as Week of the Family in Ocoee, and urge all citizens to share in the many festivities prepared for this occasion. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Ocoee, Florida, to be affixed this 18th day, October 2022. Mayor. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let a couple people want to give a check to the Legion, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That means I don't have to give one. All right, who's doing it? Mr. Commissioner Brinson? Who? We got two of them wanting to give checks?
Yes, I definitely would like to give a check to the American Legion Post 109. If we could come down, I'm not sure if Commissioner Oliver has a check. Is that what you?
Well, do it together.
Well, let's do it
Yeah,
together.
we'll do it together. So in honor of Veterans Day coming up, November 11th, we want to thank you guys for your service and what you do in the community. We appreciate you guys, and just want to give this a small token of our community, of our appreciation for your work.
I think we can move because they can have the, oh. They might want the symbol.
Come up front where they can take a picture.
Do you want to put it in front of the,
He'll get it.
trying to,
Yeah. Where's Mr. Moyer?
Yeah.
Knee surgery.
Huh?
Knee surgery.
Oh.
here, wait a second too, before you take a picture. One second.
Well, we could probably put them together.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
That's true.
Sorry.
All right, see you.
Let me know, see, I want more pictures. Jerseys for,
Don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you'll do that now, too?
yes, sir.
All right, they want to do pictures for football. You want to do it up here or down there?
Down there, let's hold
All right.
jerseys up. We're doing this in support of our high school football team. They happen to they have a good record this year, and I understand that over 50% of the kids that plays JV and varsity have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher.
Hey, that was mine.
This is shiny stuff.
I couldn't resist. I didn't bring my fan and I forgot it.
No. Somebody's got to keep.
Why is it cooler?
All right, I will say something real quick about Ocoee High School. They've been at it a long time now, since they started the new school. The only thing I never didn't like about doing was they didn't name it the Cardinals. When Mr. Armbruster was a UCF graduate, he was the new principal, so he made it black and gold and called it the Knights. I went to Ocoee High School, graduated in 1964. We were the Cardinals for a long time. I went somewhere the other day and some young man at an 80s party, he had on an Ocoee Cardinals jacket. It was great to see. All right, staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items. The first item is something that we've had a lot of calls about, so I'd like to ask Steve Krug to please come up and update the commission on the debris collection efforts with regard to the hurricane. If you could, wait a minute.
Mayor, Commissioners, I want to give you a status on where we are with debris collection. As you know, our goal along these whole lines are to maximize reimbursement from FEMA through our actions, which is why we set everything in place in 2018 and 19, so we would have reimbursement and contractors set in place to collect the debris and monitor. We activated our debris management site before the hurricane. We contacted a contractor and our debris management firm the day after the hurricane. We issued them notice to proceed that Friday with the intent that they would mobilize and begin collecting Wednesday, excuse me, of last week. That would give everybody a weekend to get their debris out to the curb. They had a very weak start and didn't really get a couple crews that weren't broken down until Saturday. We had 2 crews out there Saturday. We had 3 out Sunday. We added our crew working in one of the gated communities with our claw truck Monday. And today we've added 2 more crews from Crowder Golf. So we have 6 crews working. Right now we've collected an average of 1,600 cubic yards a day, and starting tomorrow we ought to be around 2,000. It was not the start we wanted, but there is a lot of red tape to go through to get things going. And I've got a map here showing these are the damage assessment areas that the building department uses when we do after a hurricane or an event So we broke the city into those areas, and that's where we have contractors working. The green area is completed. We've done a full sweep. The yellow areas, we are in there now, and the red areas are where we need to move into next. We expect to be complete with zones 3, 9, and 10 this week. Total progress, we're probably looking safely 3 weeks. We should be done in 2 with what we had mobilized. My voice is kind of gone because I've been giving, I've had a lot of prayer sessions with our contractor and had the regional manager in our office, my office today, meeting with us and getting the guarantee that they will have these crews on 7 days a week, 12 hours a day until we're complete. The good news is the way our debris management firm is working, they have the people that no matter how many crews they put on, we're on top of it. We're also going to supplement with our Bobcat to take a lot of these little piles that are out in the neighborhoods and combine them into larger piles so that when the debris contractor shows up, they can be quicker on filling their trucks and not having to spend so much time setting up and tearing down at each location. I guess with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Well, I've got one here that's going to be Mr. Kiefer. Come on up, and we'll see questions.
Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to commend Mr. Krug and his folks. I had several conversations with them and had some correspondence with them. They've been very courteous and helpful. And I'm also quite happy this evening because my debris pile got picked up today, so I'm one of the few lucky ones, I guess. But the gentleman was one of the Ocoee employees and did a fantastic job. I just wanted to offer a couple things, just some perspective. In our area, which is Weston Bay, I went around and looked. We had very few, if any, debris piles, maybe a couple, that were more than the standard 4 cubic yards that would be picked up on the regular yard debris removal. And had that been initiated the week after the hurricane, those would have been picked up under the service that we already pay for. There wouldn't have been a need for FEMA reimbursement. So I would suggest that maybe you could consider reordering your priorities a little bit. Instead of the first priority being reimbursement from FEMA, maybe the first priority should be picking up the debris. That's my primary suggestion. The other suggestion I have is we were forwarded a letter by the city in the midst of all this, in fact, just last week, an 8-page letter full of legalese about some kind of, because we are a gated community, some kind of documentation we had to provide about insurance and whatnot. And I don't know what that's all about. We sent it to our lawyer to look at. But in the meantime, I would offer that the time to send that letter is before hurricane season hits, rather than when we're waiting for debris to be picked up and told that we got to fill out the letter before the debris gets picked up. So those are my 2 inputs. Hopefully it helps you, Mr. Krug. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and some of the red tape that Mr. Keithler's referring to is a FEMA requirement we did not know of, is that we have to get, or it's recommended, that we get a right of entry from the gated communities in order to help with the reimbursement. Had we known that, we would have done it in advance too. We also had to do a historical having a historical evaluation done on our disaster debris management site, which was utilized and approved in Hurricane Irma. It was another loophole. They said, hey, we'll activate it, but you got to go do this now. Some things that new this year. So we apologize.
Again, I think all of our debris picked up on the normal.
It could have. It probably, the way the debris pickup for the regular is predicted, they would have been overwhelmed. That's why we asked them with not just your neighborhood, but when you add everything else up. And that's why we've had them going and picking up bags, anything that's bagged right now. So we're having them take care of that.
Chester, Just for your information, we worked, at the budget process, we worked on fixing some of those problems with that waste pickup. Not the garbage part, they do a good job, but the waste part, they don't. And one of the problems they've got, Mr. Kiefer, and I rode around everywhere in this town, went through all the areas I could get in without the gates. They've put the bags out and put the stuff on top of the bags in a lot of places. So the bags, I know, but I'm saying the bags has got to be outside of that because they're not going to unload that stuff to get to it. But that's the problem we got with those guys, and that's pure facts. We had the budget process. We're working on a way to solve that problem with those guys. So we're in, and we're gonna spend a little money ourselves with a truck and do some stuff and have a guy that'll be following up. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just one quick question for Director Krug. Do we own a claw truck?
We have one claw truck that we kept as part of when we do our stormwater lake cleanup, and we have trap floating front end loaders that can leave debris on the removed vegetation on this bank. We have a claw truck that can reach down and pick it up.
Oh, gotcha. And just one, I was offer one comment. Perhaps we may consider, I know we have hurricane preparedness every year. We sit down and talk about what are all the possibilities and what could happen as a result of a hurricane and how do we react to that. So I would offer that we would consider looking at the FEMA standard. You mentioned a couple of times that loopholes. There's different loopholes that come about, things that happen every single year. And if we would actually start looking at the FEMA requirements every year, maybe just kind of add that into our hurricane preparedness meetings and seminars of our trainings, that may kind of help us catch those loopholes before we realize they're there in the midst of debris cleanup.
I agree.
Ms. Evans?
And Commissioner, to address that, we've been having some talks, and we plan on having a post-debris cleanup meeting, what we do right, what we do wrong. And one of the things we have talked about is, that's a great idea, is bringing in our management consultant, debris monitoring consultant, like at the beginning of the year, and have them say, what's new? What do we need to do? Because some of the things caught them off guard too.
All right.
Awesome.
Hey, we'll let some lady come up.
Hi. I'm Elizabeth Evans, just a citizen, and I had an idea about all the yard waste buildup and the problems. I know the hurricane has made it worse, but I was thinking about how the trash gets picked up twice a week and the yard waste once a week. And all the complaints from the neighbors and on next door, are about the yard waste, we pay for that, it's not getting done. And I thought, do we really need the trash twice a week all the time? I know with my family, we have one trash bag a week. And it comes twice a week for pickup. And I'm thinking, if I have one bag, even a bigger family, still to fill that in a week, I think once a week is reasonable. 2 is nice, but maybe those resources could be directed towards the yard waste.
I think it's a great idea, but the problem is, we did that one time, brought it up, the citizens, majority did not want that to happen. It is a good thought process, but
Yeah.
when you open it up and tell everybody that's what you're gonna do, that ain't gonna go. We tried it, so. yeah.
Would that be something to vote on? Because
Yeah, we
I know
voted on
some
it.
people, I think if you make that much trash that you fill your can twice a week, that's a problem to look into.
You'd be
But,
surprised.
but maybe have people vote on that, like, what would they rather have, twice a week trash or more efforts towards the yard waste? Or temporarily suspend it in times like this to focus on the yard waste. Once a week's not bad. I was a travel nurse. I've lived in a lot of different places. And I've never had trash twice a week. It was once a week. So I think that's a luxury, and I don't know if that's the best use of resources, but it could be something to redirect resources to help the problem
We can look at
now.
it and put it in the water bill and put a suggestion.
We did an extensive survey one year to look into that, looking at ways to say, and overwhelmingly, the majority of people wanted twice a week to continue.
Yeah. We'll try to get them. We'll try
I
to.
have one bag a week.
I know.
Too, but-
You know,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You know, one thing, I'm sorry, Mayor, just a quick comment. One thing we have to keep in mind is, 50, 60 years ago, we were a nation of producers. We produced a lot of things. Today, we're the number one nation of consumers. So we consume a lot more than we produce right now. So, and that equates to garbage, waste, and trash. And that seems to be what's happening, with us in the trash pickup. We need the 2 pickups a week just to discard what we're consuming.
May I ask a question?
I will say, if any of them come to my house, you'd see Amazon quite a bit, and we don't fill up more than 2. I tell you, we get a lot. Guy says, "Hi, Mr. Johnson," every time I see him riding down the road. So there's a lot of people that have more than one family in these houses, folks. Go up on the east side of town and the south side, you're gonna see there's these houses with more than one family. It's not gonna get by with one trash can. But we can put that suggestion in the maybe make a paper and put it in the water bills and ask people. Then we can see. All right, let's move.
We have one more question, actually, a question for Director Krug. Do we have a issue with where to drop off yard waste once we picked it up? Was that a concern that drove the delay in picking up yard waste?
No, we actually activated the site. The only delay was getting the historical approval through EPA, I think it was, and for our already existing site that's been registered with the state. And we had it activated almost immediately, but we gave everybody the weekend to get materials out so we could effectively collect things without having to go back or miss people.
Okay.
All right, we got one more on the public comment. Scott Kennedy. Oops. Forget to put
If you don't mind, I'll reach over.
Forget to put my volume on.
Can you help me? Can they help me with the computer? They need to pull something up before I get started, Mayor.
All right, don't start that yet. Pull it up.
Can you pull up the city website?
Yep.
The city website,
Oh, you need this.
just city Ocoee. Where the events tab go. It's not working. Well, I can't find it. Good evening. My name's Scott Kennedy. As you know, I'm a member of the HRDB, and I'm also on the subcommittee for the Ocoee Remembers event on the HRDB. Before I get started tonight, I want to make sure that everyone knows that we have our signature, I call it our signature event, November 5th and 6th. And I also wanted to make sure that, I don't know if everyone is aware, that at the last meeting, literally the month before our event, our chairwoman, Lori Hart, resigned. Perhaps it's a coincidence, I don't know. but there was a motion made for a vote of no confidence against our chair for removal by the chair of the subcommittee of the Ocoee Remembers Committee. The issue seemed unrelated, but orchestrated. The issue is that at the budget meetings, as some of you may know if you attended, there was a lot of discussion. Commissioner Oliver proposed $100,000 set aside for cultural events. And we've had several HRDB subcommittee members, projects come, and we typically vote and we send somebody to represent the HRDB. And there were questions from commissioners as to, well, why isn't the chair here? Why? Well, that's what we voted for. And so at the budget meetings, the HRDB voted for a member to appear, but the chair also appeared, and the chair had a different opinion about the $100,000, a totally rational opinion, a reasonable opinion, one that I share. And that was given as the reason for a vote of no confidence. How much time do I have left? There's a lot of laundry list of garbage behind this. My point is to highlight it and hope there will be someone to look at it. If you go to the City of Ocoee website, there is a link to the HRDB section, and there it talks about the events on the 5th and the 6th. And it has a link to this OcoeeRemembers.org. And this site has the logo and has a picture of the commission. And it mentions some of our schedule, our Unity Day Festival, our Honor Ride, our worship service, our Descendants Dinner. The Ocoee Remembers is an HRDB city event. You'll notice that this website down at the bottom says powered by Commissioner Oliver. This is actually a private website that is linked to from the city website. And you'll see that the HRDB, this is us right here, our own event has somehow been hijacked and we're now a partner in somebody else's event. And they're having sponsored political events, both for Commissioner Oliver and for Commissioner Brinson. We tried to discuss how this happened with our chair. This happened without the knowledge of me or the other member of the subcommittee. We asked our chair of the subcommittee how this happened. There was heated discussion, as there frequently is in the HRDB on this, and we were told that this was Commissioner Oliver's website, Commissioner Oliver's event. I understand, because I've asked before to try to link businesses that support diversity to the city website, that the city has a policy against that. I'd like some information as to how that policy was violated. And I think the citizens deserve an investigation into, we have a budget the city voted for the promotion of this, for the sponsorship deals, things that are linked on here by our event coordinator that are city funds. And they appear to be commingled with private funds or political funds. And I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I think we deserve some answers, and we were unable to get them.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any comments?
Can you scroll up? I'm trying to read.
Okay.
I mean, can we see what,
We got all this new equipment, folks. And
well, I'm reading, scrolling up. Where? I'm just reading as we go along. Okay.
all right, let's see. We'll get to the comments when we speak, I guess. So, all right. That's all the rest of the ones that filled out a slip will be when we talk about that item. So, all right. Consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson for the consent agenda. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? If not, let's vote.
Oh. Yeah.
Motion carries with, Mayor.
No, that was a mistake.
I did that last time. Okay, let's do it again.
Do it
All in
again.
favor,
Do
let's
it
vote
again.
again. Gotta watch your fingers on this thing. Motion carries unanimously. All right. We're going down to the second reading of ordinance. I want to make a comment here on item number 4. Item number 4 is going to be pulled pulled till 2 weeks. Now, I have talked to one gentleman, but you can speak if you're not going to be here. But it's really, if you're going to be here, I think that's the only one I had. Yeah, that's the only one I got. So in 2 weeks, tell whoever you got, we'll be back at it in 2 weeks. I need a motion, we're pulling this till 2 weeks.
I'll make that motion to continue it to November 1st, 22.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Wilson, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Be back in 2 weeks. Do I hear any more comments? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. See you in 2 weeks on that item 4, second reading of ordinance for Ocoee land and mixed-use building.
Did you turn up to read that?
You want?
We'll
Nope.
have another public hearing.
Another public hearing.
Okay.
All right. Number 5, second reading of ordinance for Isaac Malka property, 2199 West Road, annexation, small-scale, comprehensive plan, future land use map amendments, rezoning, and large-scale preliminary subdivision plan. I
Yes.
guess you're good with that?
I'm
too?
going to cover those, yes, Mayor.
All right, our planning director, Mr. Roomer.
Okay, thank you. This item is, as you said, second hearing, second reading of ordinance, public hearing, and it involves a comprehensive land use amendment, which we brought forward under a first reading public hearing because we had to amend the joint planning area agreement that we adopted in 2018, 2019 with Orange County. And that joint planning area agreement was amendment from low-density residential to high-density was approved by Orange County. So we're bringing it back for the second reading of ordinances for the land use amendment, rezoning, and preliminary subdivision plan. The property is located in between the Renaissance Charter School and the Greens at Forest Lake Townhome Community. And it's a 5.08 acre parcel. We had tried to have the developer of the townhomes to the east get this property under contract as well and incorporate it all. It was unsuccessful, and the property owner is now coming forward with a preliminary subdivision plan for townhomes. As you can see, this is the way that you access the property is through this extension of Fountains West Boulevard. There is a remnant of a little portion of West Road that's under the county's ownership and maintenance and will not be used for physical access because it has a trail crossing, but we do have it set up to be a future emergency access, and it does have the main access off of the Fountains West Boulevard with a trail crossing. And so I'll get to the meat of the item. So the reason for this is the high density was to get the total amount of units proposed in the subdivision plan, which is 48 townhome lots. It does front the West Orange Trail, as you can see from the aerial, and it accesses this public road to the north, which was created under the Greens at Forest Lake. And this was a effort we made with the developer of this PUD to create this, bring this public road to these properties so they could develop in the future. And staff recommends approval. This is the preliminary townhome. You will see it under the final 48 townhome units, 1 and 2 car garage, amenity center, stormwater, and this will complete the development within that area. This property will, under a transportation study, have a proportionate share to a future signal at Fountains West Boulevard. We have collected some monies toward a future signal at West Road and Fountains West. For that time when the signal is warranted or comes in, we will be able to forward monies from these developments to go towards that. And with that, I just want to say the access, the area stormwater retention on the west side adjacent to the trail We are working with the applicant to provide some sort of soft buffering with non-irrigated landscaping to make that view shed of the trail a nice amenity. It's in concert with effort that Ginger Corliss is doing with the West Orange Trails, West Orange Healthcare Trails Committee. And with that, we recommend approval of the small-scale land use amendment, the rezoning, and the preliminary subdivision plan. Thank you.
All right. Let's see, we'll open the public, you gonna read?
We have
I know.
3 ordinances to read, 4 things to vote on. So the first one is the annexation ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real properties containing approximately 5.08 acres located south and west of Desert Candle Drive, east of the West Orange Trail and north of West Road, unimproved right-of-way approximately 200 feet north of State Road 429. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. The small-scale comprehensive plan ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the City of Ocoee Comprehensive Plan as adopted in 1991 as amended, amending the future land use map of the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan to change the future land use map designation from low-density residential to high-density residential for certain real property containing approximately 5.08 acres located south and west of Desert Candle Drive, east of the West Orange Trail and north of the West Road, unimproved right-of-way approximately 200 feet north of State Road 429, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, revision of the official city future land use map, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1, Citrus Rural District, to City of Ocoee PUD, Planned Unit Development District, on certain real properties containing approximately 5.08 acres located south and west of Desert Candle Drive, east of the West Orange Trail and north of the West Road, unimproved right-of-way approximately 200 feet north of State Road 429, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Will you put that map back up there real quick?
The plan or the aerial?
That. Explain to me again where that's at.
Okay, you have, this is the 429 overpass to West Road. This is the entrance to Fountain West Boulevard. You have the public shopping center.
It's going to be in the back.
It's the back there. You do, yeah, there's a new storage facility. You have Renaissance Charter.
Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments for item 5?
The engineer is in present if you need him to answer your questions.
It needs to be, okay.
Are there like 2 lane
What?
roads?
You fill out a form and come up here. Okay? You want to fill out a form and come up? No.
I thought you said as anybody from the public, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just have to speak in the mic so they can get your comments for the record, that's all.
Yeah, we have to have you do it there because it has to go record to the public. You want to talk? Okay, all right. All right, anybody else? Anybody have any comments? All right, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back up to DOS. Any comments? Anybody?
What's the access road right there that's coming off, that one right there? Explain that access road
Yes,
there.
Commissioner, it's actually called West Road. It must have been part of the original West Road out there. This remnant parcel stops at the West Orange Trail. It's under the ownership and maintenance of Orange County. The property to the south is Expressway Authority land. Regarding the development of the greens at Forest Lake, the Orange County Parks and Rec over the West Orange Trail stated they would allow one trail crossing to be constructed. They'll try to limit the amount of trail crossing. So what we did as part of the subdivision, as part of the annexation, is they've dedicated tracked, you can't see it on here, let me see here, to the city. So there's a finger that comes, part of the greens. There's a finger that comes down here dedicated to the city. And then as part of the, that's stabilized, but we do not have a physical trail crossing, so you could not cross it with a vehicle. And Orange County didn't give us a right-of-way permit, but it is there, it's available if for something happens, emergency vehicles or management could get that way. But we do have it where we have a hammerhead at the end of the subdivision, so if something changes in the future, it could be a possible second access point.
But as of now, there's only one access point.
Yes,
For
yes.
all the residents that's back in that area.
Yes.
Which we tend to have some issues with that area right now, especially with school coming in the morning when our parents are dropping the kids off, in the afternoon picking up the kids, and just when folks are getting off work, just at that one entrance into that area, it seems to be it is a monster of an issue that we have there when it comes to traffic and infrastructure. What is the plan to perhaps put some type of traffic calming devices at that entrance that will allow traffic to flow more, flow frequently, flow better, if we can get a better traffic flow from there? Is there a plan, or is there a plan to do something like that?
Our plan, we received a no-go from the county to utilize that via the county transportation and Parks and Rec to have a trail crossing. But what we have done is we've received the land deeded to us. So on the other side of the trail from this parcel, I'll show you, we received it from the property owner. They deeded it to us. This development is building a standard-sized road as well. So we have enough right-of-way space that in the future, if things change, all you got to do is the trail crossing. We've planned on our end, we've gotten all the land up to the trail that we can, and it's a standard right-of-way width. That's the first thing we've done. The second thing we've done, we did with the transportation studies for this area to include the arbors, which was the apartments and the charter school. The only deficiency is in the future, a signal at some point will be needed. So we take a proportionate share of each development's trips that's going to generate based off the cost of a signal, and they pay that their proportionate share. They might be 8% of the trips, so they pay 8% of the $400,000 for a signal. We receive that money and hold it in an account. So as the transportation situation changes out there and Orange County does their trip counts and does their studies, when a signal is warranted, because West Road is an Orange County road, we can say, good, we have $185,000, whatever is in that account, to go towards that signal to make it happen.
Well, it doesn't change anything right now.
Doesn't change anything right now.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Back years ago, when that land was sold, I know I was involved in the one behind it, where the other townhomes, this property, 25 years ago, that was 15 acres, not 20. 5 acres. Is that part of that 5 acres?
This has been under the
I know.
Isaac family as long as I know it.
They're out
but-
of Tampa.
Yes,
Yeah, but that was 5 acres.
it's
Plot.
just over 5 as long as I've known it.
Yeah. And we're gonna put 81 townhomes.
46 townhomes.
What happened to the 81 there?
It's 48.
48.
48 townhomes,
48.
sorry, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Well, I agree with the problem about traffic because of the school. They're having problems up there with circling and getting out and out of there, dropping off kids at that school. These private schools are not in the buses, they got into the parents' cars.
Yes, and my response for that, so the public knows what's going on transportation-wise in the northern part of the city is a couple of things. First, the 429 is expanding, so getting on those ramps, those issues. Second, we will have the extension of Ocoee Crown Point Parkway. So parents that have to go to Ocoee Popka Road and West Road, or on the west side, it's Ocoee Crown Point Parkway, those trips will diminish because they'll be able to use East Crown Road to the Ocoee Crown Point Parkway. And additionally, cars that now have to take Claricona Ocoee Road from, say, Adair, they will be able to utilize internal streets to get to Lakewood based off the Ocoee Village project.
Right.
So we're gonna have some changing of trips where they need to go and how they get there. But yes, we do have a peak AM, those 4 different 15-minute segments, we do have peak traffic during those times, yes.
Right.
Just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I guess my question is along that same line, and that is, in the mornings, in the afternoons, right now, the school traffic for dropping off and/or picking up actually can extend up to and past the 429. That's obviously is a public safety concern. So how do we address that?
Well, I surmise that, a lot of times we get a comment for road widening. West Road, Claricona, Ocoee Road are both 4-lane divided highways. You can't 6-lane and 8-lane. It doesn't solve the problem. It's parallel facilities, it's blocks, it's other, and those other things I told you about are what's going to help that situation. Because we're gonna have cars, so you have the intersection of Ocoee, Kapopka Road and West Road, that intersection will change. You're not gonna have all those cars making a left. They're gonna have a different way to get to the high school. There's gonna be an additional road on Ocoee Papa to get up there with this development that's going next to the high school.
And that's, which is very true, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping that road gets punched through, East Ground Point gets punched through.
Yes,
on the
and
other
we'll have an
side.
additional one at the roundabout going south to Ocoee Apopka. So we'll have two additional outlets for that area
But up by Renaissance.
Yes.
It's the same, that's the.
yes.
Because for whatever reason, I don't know how it happens, but some of the high school traffic and the Renaissance traffic actually merge together. And that's, again, that's what causes the backup
Yes.
to the 429. And I don't know if there is a fix, because, there's no place for them to go. And I don't think there's a right-of-way that we can widen that road over there, just
Yeah,
as you mentioned.
yeah, we're not gonna 6-lane
So-
it, yes.
Right, so we have to figure out a way, because right now we have traffic backed up. Then we also have the students that walk to school as well as ride bikes to school, trying to get to school while traffic is
Right.
backed up.
So think about in the future, once the intersection of Lakewood at Ocoee Village, a car will be able to make a left there, come down, go through the roundabout, go west on Fuller's Crossroad, and from Fuller's, get onto the new Crown Point Parkway extension to get to the high school. You won't have to go West Road, so you can come make a left. You can, if you follow my cursor, they'll be able to come here, make a left, go down to the roundabout and head west and go East Crown. There'll be the new entrance point to the backside of the high school that way. So you'll have that parallel facility. That will help. It'll take some driving. I don't know if Surrey's gonna tell you to go that way for a while, but that will be an option. That's what's happening in the future.
Right, and again, most of this, I think we're talking about is probably more for the record than anything else, because that's south of the 429. North of the 429, when cars coming out of Ingram Road or whatever other access road over there, they're turning right onto West Road or
Yeah.
Claricona Ocoee, stopping in traffic, and they're not even going to the school.
Oh, yes.
They're stuck, which exacerbates the problem. So again, I don't know
Yes.
if there is a fix that can be done, because at this point, I think it probably is what it is, but we have to try to
Yes,
have some type of solutions to.
and remember, there's the planned facilities also take all of this into account, because there's still an elementary school to be built over in
That was my next-
across from the high school. And that's where taking this road, Fuller's Cross, having that access onto Fuller's Cross, which turns into East Crown when it curves, that's huge, because that's gonna allow a lot of people to stay out of that West Road intersection.
Okay.
I do have one ask, which in my mind, as a citizen, is gonna be a very simple ask. But, why are you looking at me like that?
You said a simple ask, I'm sorry, I'm waiting.
That doesn't exist, right?
I'm just waiting.
And it is concerning, West Road, as Clarence on Ocoee Road meets up with the 429, and there's a light there as you enter the 429 and you're heading south. And it's actually right at the precipice of a hill. And what happens is that at that light, there's a green turn signal, and folks make the left turn, and then that signal just turns green again without, it doesn't turn red, it turns green so you can go at your own risk or take caution and then make that left turn. What happens is lots of times coming over that hill, someone's going 70, 80 miles an hour coming over the hill, and you try to make that left turn and you can't negotiate that because you can't figure out how fast you're going. So my ask is there any way we can ask the county to put in a, they have the green turn signal there. but
Was it
they
a
can
yellow
make it-
flashing, or is it?
No, it's just green. It goes from green,
To yellow.
it goes the left turn green signal, it goes off and it's just green.
Okay.
So then you just go at your risk.
Westbound to northbound 429.
That's correct.
Okay.
No, southbound. You're going southbound. It is westbound to southbound. So as you're coming over the hill,
Okay, got it.
so you're going southbound. So is there any way that they can make that green arrow turn red? So you're not able to make that turn and try to negotiate speeding traffic as it's
Yes.
coming towards you to
Okay,
get on
yes.
429.
I'll get with Director Krug, with the city managers. We'll work together and get something, talk that over to them with Orange County, yes.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
I'll make a comment on that. I go there a lot. The only problem you're gonna have with that, and I know you gotta be cautious when you're driving with a green light, that's gonna back traffic up. It's already backed up on that turn lane, but it's gonna back it up more if you change that, because they're coming from the high school, they're going out through there. So if you change that, you can go on green light, if you just gotta be cautious about when you drive. I mean,
Yes.
but I'm just saying, you're gonna back them up all the way down, because there's a lot of traffic coming down West Road on the afternoon or in the mornings that go. So if you back
Right.
that up, it's gonna be all the way back, then they'll never get through that.
And I'll also
It won't
check-
back them up. I don't think it'll back them
Yeah,
up.
it backs them up
Because
now.
I'm thinking about the opposite direction, as you're coming from the golf course.
I know.
Heading that way.
That's what I'm talking
It
about,
doesn't
coming
back
from the
folks
golf
up
course.
coming from the high school. They'll continue to go on the green. It's just that you're waiting to get on the 429.
The only,
And
I know, it's either or the other, I'm just telling you, and
Yeah.
I go there, I leave that shopping center all the time, and the golf course. That
And I'll-
light changes to green, there's not many cars, that high school's only during the hours in the morning and the hours in the afternoon. Same thing with the people leaving Weston Bay, most of them, and that other place are going in the mornings. But that's, when it backs up that other way, there's gonna be traffic.
And I'll
Okay,
check
that's,
this-
that's
yeah.
just,
Yeah, I'll check to see if they're doing a dual left because they're widening the lanes on 429. I'll check.
they didn't do a lane of that.
They didn't yet?
Not
Okay.
yet.
All right.
Okay, all right. I need a motion?
Did you close the public hearing?
Nope. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get a motion for
I need
the
a mo-
annexation
you
ordinance.
gonna- All right, what we're gonna do on item 5, we'll do a motion on each one of these, A, B, and C, and D. So we'll start with A. I need a motion for A.
I'll make a motion for the annexation ordinance,
Motion.
item 5.
All right. Commissioner Brinson made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Firstman. Any more comments? No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Second one is second reading of small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for the small scale comprehensive plan, item 5.
Commissioner Brinson made the motion, second reading of small-scale comprehensive. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments? Let's vote. All right, we're down to C, second reading of rezoning ordinance. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for reading of rezoning ordinance, item 5.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson for rezoning ordinance. Do I hear a motion? Second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments? Let's vote.
I don't want to jump in front of everybody.
Motion carries unanimously. Item D, large-scale preliminary subdivision plan. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for a large-scale preliminary subdivision plan.
Commissioner Brinson made the motion for number D, large-scale preliminary subdivision plan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Firstman. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Item 6, second reading of ordinance for Rodriguez Torres property, 285 11th Avenue, annexation and rezoning project.
Mayor, before we go any further, can I make a comment about what we just voted on 5? It's okay. I voted for this to move forward, but I was very apprehensive about voting yes on this because I think we continue to fail to address the issues of traffic and infrastructure. And this is one project here that is going to make an impact, immediate impact on the traffic and infrastructure in that area, and it's going to make it even worse. So again, even though I did vote for it, I was very apprehensive about voting yes on this. But again, we'll move the project forward in hopes that we can actually address it at a later date to bring in some traffic calming devices or something that's going to help us control traffic in that area.
Well, I do believe that's what happens. We do work on doing that in the process. But this is the first steps in this process. We'll have other times to look at it. All right. Mr. Rumer? Item
Yes.
6.
Yeah, this is a annexation of an existing single-family home located on 11th Street in Peters. And this is in order to obtain City of Ocoee potable water. There is not sewer in this area. And the property, it's a voluntary annexation with the homeowner requesting it meets the statutory criteria as it's adjacent to property in the city of Ocoee on the east side. And again, this is annexing an existing single-family home in order to get potable water service. And this is just another, you can see how we're starting to fill in the puzzle within the JPA, Joint Planning Area with Orange County and getting homes in, paying property taxes. Thank you.
All right. You want to read those for the public hearing?
Yeah, this is the annexation ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.26 acres located in the northwest corner of the 11th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing an effective date. The rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2 Residential District to City of Ocoee R1 Single-Family Dwelling District on certain real property containing approximately 0.26 acres located in the northwest corner of the 11th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing for item 6, second reading of ordinance for Rodriguez Torres property, 285 11th Avenue, annexation and rezoning project. Any comments from the public? No comments. I'm going to close it and bring it back to the dais. Anybody want to make a motion or comments?
I'll make a motion that we approve the item 6. Is it?
Just
Yeah.
the annexation.
Just the
We
annexation?
got 2 of them here, yeah.
Okay.
I'll
right.
second him.
Commissioner Branson made the motion for the annexation ordinance. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more discussion, let's vote. Congratulations, sir. All right, second reading of rezoning ordinance. Your motion.
I'll make a motion for approval of the rezoning ordinance.
Motion made by Commissioner Branson for second reading of rezoning ordinance. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Welcome to the city, wherever they're at.
They were here earlier.
Yeah, I thought so. All right. Number 7, second reading of ordinance for Prasad Rama Communications property.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This property is located on the east side of South Clark Road, north of White Road. This is across the road from the radio station property with the big towers. This is an annexation. I'm not sure, I didn't work on this one particularly, if it's for water service, but it's a voluntary annexation, bringing in an existing single-family home into the city limits. And it is adjacent to the city on the east side and to the north, so therefore it meets the statutory requirement for this voluntary annexation, and staff recommends approval.
It is for, it says in here, it is for potable water.
Okay,
I read that somewhere.
potable, okay, good. If a parcel is if we have water available and it's not adjacent to the city, then they do an intent to annex agreement that says at such time as it's eligible, it will annex. But they do have to pay a 8 to 13% surcharge on top of that. So if we can annex them, we do. So, thank you.
All right. Any other commissioners have any comments?
Okay, I need to read this one.
Well, we open the public hearing yet? You read it already?
I thought you did open the public hearing. Did I miss that?
I might have.
He didn't open public hearing.
No,
Okay.
not on this one.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing for item number 7. Anybody have any comments? No comments, we'll close the public hearing, bring it up to the dais. No more comments, I need a motion for item 7.
Let me go ahead and
Oh,
read
go ahead
these.
and read them. I thought I did that already.
Annexation ordinance, an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .4 acres located on the east side of South Clark Road, approximately 1,775 feet north of White Road pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date. The rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1, Citrus Rural District, to City of Ocoee R1A, Single Family Dwelling District, on certain real property containing approximately .4 acres located on the east side of South Clark Road, approximately 1,775 feet north of White Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right. Now we'll open the public hearings. Anybody in the public? I did that again, but I'm gonna do it again to make sure after he read them. Should have done that first. No comments, I'm gonna close it and bring it back. Anybody have any comments, or I need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for
Oh, is there two?
second reading of annexation
For the,
ordinance.
I'll make a motion for the A for the second reading of annexation.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion for second reading of rezoning.
I'll make that motion for the second reading of rezoning.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for second reading of rezoning. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. All right. Motion carries unanimously. All right.
Welcome to Ocoee.
Yep. All right. Number 8. Variance request for Family Dollar Tree at 1531 East Silver Star Road.
This is variance 22-07, and this is a request for variance to increase a wall sign size for the Family Dollar and Dollar Tree, which is located in most of the old Winn-Dixie look in the Lake Olympia Plaza. The applicant, which is, I believe, represented by the sign company, they should be here, is looking at increasing the wall size, maximum size of the wall sign for the user. This is in Lake Olympia Plaza over on Silver Star and Clark, and the old, everyone knows where the old Winn-Dixie was in the center, and it's being utilized. I'm trying to find a picture here to show you how it's one store, but it's sort of separated inside into the two brands when you go in there, and they're seeking large sign for each size, even though it's for one business. So we've given them to meet the code minimum, and they're requesting a variance. So What the requesting is that, try to find that, so, oh, come here. All right. They're requesting an allowance to have an additional 80 square foot of signage on the front wall sign, which is an increase of the 75 to have two signs totaling 155 square foot. And we haven't had a commercial variance in a long time, and this is a sign variance. So we have a sign code which establishes monument sign size, copy area, as well as wall size, wall sign signage. It talks about sign height, and it talks about maximum square footage. They do have a permit in-house in our system that's approved, meeting the criteria, and now they're seeking a variance to go above that and hopefully be able to change those documents out. Variances, we follow Florida statute for a variance request, which has 4 criteria, which talks about hardship. Is there something with this property that's different than another commercial property that they should receive some relief or vis-a-vis a variance in order to help make their property usable? And so I'll just quickly go over them. There's special conditions or circumstances that are peculiar to the land. A literal interpretation would violate them rights commonly allowed to somebody else. The special conditions, if there are any, it's not as an action taken by the applicant or property owner. And then if we grant this variance under their hardship, it will not confer other properties the same variance right. Well, you approved him, you got to approve me. Staff has worked with the sign company, and we do not see that they meet any of those criteria. They have you'll see in your staff report, they talk about distances and landscaping and such to create a hardship, and staff does not agree with it. They talk about site distance, recognizing, branding, and such. And they provide in your packet a distance and speed of the road to say if you were passing by how this variance would help them meet what they want to do. So this is the view traveling east on Silver Star. And so they have the signs there. This is on the monument. And so staff just could not find anywhere where we could get behind their variance request for larger signage. We did not find that they have any special circumstances. And in fact, I also think that there is an opportunity that they are not utilizing. This is the monument sign that's out there. And you'll see, if you've seen a Publix or Winn-Dixie shopping center, the grocery store gets the big spot on the monument. They don't have that here. I don't know what's part of their lease, but if they had a prominent area on that monument sign that's on Silver Star and one on Clark, you will know the building's there. They certainly have the biggest retail space and should have the most signage in those monument signs. And the fact that they don't is not a hardship. It's physically there, it could be done. So with that, I believe the applicant.
Yeah, I don't know, who's the applicant? Application part. I don't think.
Yeah,
Mike, did this go to P and Z?
It went to P and Z, and
ask them.
we continued it a couple times because the applicant couldn't make it last minute, so maybe they, so.
It did.
No, they did?
It did?
Came to the last P and Z and we voted against it.
Yes.
I was going to
yes.
ask that. All right.
But it was continued because the applicant couldn't
I
show
know.
up. So
All
they're
right,
not
so
here
what I'm
tonight.
going to do is open the public hearing.
Yes, so in your packet, you'll see the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend denial to the city commission.
There's two, before I open the public, I'm going to make a comment on this issue. You open a can of worms if you do this because of all the other signs, all the other businesses. You will get problems. So that's just a comment on it, because against our rules. The other thing is I'm open to public hearing, and I have a comment here by Mr. Powers. Come on down.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to appear. I'll make it very short. I'm just concerned that if this is approved, that other businesses on the other four corners will want the same approval. There's the, whatever it's called now, the gym, used to be LA Fitness, the CVS drugstore, Publix, who knows? I'm concerned that it'll detract from our neighborhood and our community, and I hope that you follow staff's recommendation and maintain the order that we currently have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any comments? All right, no more comments. I'm gonna close the public hearing and bring it up. Comments, does. Or do I need a motion?
Well, is there anyone from this applicant here?
I don't see them here.
Okay.
I'll just make a comment. I have a problem. I think we should say within our ordinance that we have. I agree with you, Mr. Powers. We have it set to how big it should be, and I think that there is no justification that you can see, or that you've brought to our attention. So I'm personally not in favor. I'm in favor of denying the ordinance, the variance, excuse me.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Starts to become a positive and a negative, huh?
All right.
So I'll-
Anybody else have any comments?
I'm going to have to agree with Commissioner Wilson. I agree with your logic. You're absolutely correct, as well as the citizen that came up to speak about keeping the ordinances and making sure that we maintain what we currently have.
Anybody else?
Well, I think the last thing is Director Rumor mentioned that there are also 2 monument signs where they can actually put their signage that they should utilize, and that should give them more than enough signage to be recognized in that shopping center. So,
Well, like I said, and I made the comment before we opened it, and it's leading into other problems. We got, you'll have every business out on that road wanting bigger signs. And that's not what there's a reason why those signs are at that size. So, all right, no more comments. I'm gonna need a motion.
I'll make the motion to, someone else say? I'll make the motion to deny the variance.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson to deny the variance. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. All right, no more comment. Let's vote. How did that go?
Well,
Y'all voted wrong.
Did I make it? I
No.
said I'm making the motion to
Yeah.
deny the variance, so if you
Yeah.
vote yes, you're denying the variance, right?
Yes.
Okay, so should we do it again?
Over. I didn't mess that one up that time.
Are we done?
Can we try it again?
Yeah, let's try it
So
again.
a yes vote is a,
Yes is
a no to the
deny.
variance, yes.
Yeah, yes. All right, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
It
All right.
gets so confusing at times.
All right. Okay. Regular agenda, none. Comments from citizens and public, we've already, that's it. I don't have any more for that. What?
I had one more item on staff reports, sorry about that. I don't get up here that often. That we didn't get to, and if it would be okay, I'd like to bring out Chief Ogburn and Chief Placencia from the PD. We were notified late yesterday by Chief Ogburn about an item that came to his attention, and the Florida Department of Children and Families and the Orange County EOC have designated the West Oaks Mall as a DSNAP distribution center for this area for the weekend of October 28th, 29th, and 30th. And what that's going to do is bring approximately 100,000 people into our city over a 3-day period. And I would like for them to brief you on it because there's not another commission meeting between now and the event. And it will definitely alter traffic flow in the community at that point in time. So, Chief Ogburn?
Good afternoon, council. Yes, just like City Manager Craig said, we were notified yesterday of our West Oaks Mall being the location of a DSNAP program, which is the Nutrition Assistant Program, and it's going on throughout the state. It was through the Orange County Office of Emergency Management in conjunction with Department of Children and Families. Now, they have been looking for locations for 3 weeks, but we were just brought into the fold yesterday. I have a meeting tomorrow at 1:30 to discuss a traffic plan, and they will assured me that they will do like a mutual aid for outside assistance, such as traffic control and security for the event overnight. So that's all I have right now, but hopefully tomorrow I have more answers, and I will keep Craig in the loop.
Did you say how many people?
Well, initially they said they were anticipating 30,000 people per day. That number has decreased to 11,000, between 11,000 and 15,000. They opened up the telephone registrations, I think, on Monday, and they have until Sunday at midnight or 11 p.m. to register via telephone, but that still does not deny anybody from coming in. They can walk up to it and still register while they're in line and still get the assistance.
All right, that's about 45,000 people if that's what it is, so.
Yes, sir.
For those 3 days.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to impact traffic around on Colonial, Clark Road, from Colonial all the way to Good Homes to McGuire, and Colonial all the way to Silver Star.
What are the dates again?
October 28th, 29th, and 30th, next week, next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Did they give you a date, a place where it's, that you contact?
Excuse
Did they
me?
put out how did people know about it?
Through their website. Like I said, I'm going tomorrow to find out how we can put this out, if we need to, on our social media, because they may have a mechanism already in place. But that's it.
All right, thank you.
What exactly is a DSNAP program?
Well, it's like the assistance program, like after every state of emergency, like the hurricane. So people who lost goods related to the hurricane, they will get a card with some funds loaded on it so that they can recoup their losses.
How many sites will they be during this time frame, or is it going to be additional sites at different times, different locations? Oh,
Yeah, no, it's,
different times, different locations. So are we the only site in the
no.
city?
In the county.
In this county, yes, in the county.
We're the only site in the county. I'm sorry. Don't we typically use the we have the fairgrounds. We also have Orange County Convention Center.
All of those venues, that question was asked as well. The Monster Truck Show is this weekend at Camping World. Amway has a Magic Game. Orange County Convention Center is booked. And Disney was booked. They looked all around the county, and we were like the last resort.
It is on DCF's website, I'm looking at it right now.
And the hours of this, I forgot to tell you, was from 0700 in the morning or 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. But if you're already in line, it could go beyond 5 p.m. because they will not turn anybody away from the line.
Is that pertaining to like when you have trash?
19 counties.
We had a house burned down, I could see that, but the other is just for the trees and the brush.
No, this says the Disaster Supplement Nutrition Program, which is SNAP,
So it's really not.
provides
just
food
the storm.
assistance for individuals and families impacted by the Hurricane Ian and who are not receiving food assistance benefits through the regular supplemental SNAP program.
So it says applicants must have suffered a disaster loss such as damage to their homes, loss of food, reduction or loss of income, or other disaster-related expense.
So, yeah, it's on their website, so it's,
All right.
okay.
DCF?
It's DCF's Florida Department of Children and Families website, yes.
May I ask a clarifying question? You said that there's going to be possibly mutual aid from surrounding municipalities?
Yes, through the Office
For
of
law
Emergency
enforcement.
Management, they have a mechanism in place where they can put out a call throughout the state looking for assistance. And I asked how assuring was that, and I was told that at one of these locations, they had 50 resources that they could send. So hopefully that turns out to be in our favor as well.
And I'm certain that either our law enforcement agency or some other agency has contacted the mall management folks.
Well, they contacted the mall management. That's how we came in at the last minute. A mall was already on board.
They're actually paying the mall to be present at their
Sure,
site.
sure, I get that part, but,
Yeah.
because my concern obviously now is we have a lot of other folks from all over the county, and maybe either other surrounding counties who may try to sneak in under the wire, descending upon that mall. And now we're looking at, presence versus enforcement versus do we have someplace to put all these folks as being detained? Because that's just part of this evolution.
Go ahead, Mayor, I'm sorry.
No, Commissioner Wilson's right. I've asked you a question. We have one of those lifts that has the box in it where you can see around the parking lot?
No, sir, we
Can
don't.
you ask those county?
I can ask for that
Can we get
resource.
those from their sheriff department and police departments?
I'll ask tomorrow at the
They
meeting.
have them.
And I don't know if he mentioned, but the EOC is actually asking for the National Guard as well. So if there's going to be a National Guard presence, they can help and assist and replace some of the law enforcement officers to do duties that need to be addressed by law enforcement.
Okay, now, see, that causes me to ask more questions.
Sorry.
And the reason why is, because normally when the National Guard is great for bringing in for disaster assistance. This is kind of sort of that, it's just related to that.
That's what this is.
But the National Guard is the National Guard, so I probably don't have a say in whether, the governor allows that to happen or not. But I'm kind of at a loss for words if they're bringing the National Guard in to address this issue.
It's to do the orderly session of people, because this is an outdoor event where people have to leave their cars and have to walk up to the site.
Right.
They'll have the chutes where you can line up to go to the tables. And once you're through, which they say is a 3 to 5 minute process if you've registered, then you leave and go back to your car, wherever that car might be on the mall property lot.
Sure.
So the National Guard would be maybe to set up the barricades or stand at a barricade site if we're not going to allow a car to come in there. But they wouldn't be doing enforcement. They would be there more for just the security of the event.
Yeah, the line security.
Right.
Okay, monitors and
Yes.
Right.
go this direction. But the other, part of this obviously is gonna be logistics for parking vehicles properly. I'm sure they've done this before, so I'm sure they know how to do it. Now
Well,
we're
the
doing it in
entire
our city.
mall parking lot is still open for these individuals, plus the people visiting mall. None of the businesses will be shut down. We're hoping that it doesn't have that impact, but we expect it to be chaotic because we got a lot of people coming into the city. We're gonna make it happen. I mean, we're gonna do our best, let's put it that way. There's no perfect laid plan, but we do have a plan.
And for all those who are listening to this, be patient.
Yes.
When it comes to traffic on Colonial and Clark Road and Silver Star,
Yes.
because they've been coming from all directions.
And White Room.
And White Road.
And White Road.
Any cut-through road, they will, patience.
They're gonna allow walk-ups. It says if you do not pre-register during the designated time above, you may complete pre-registration at an on-site location. So it could be the greater number, more towards the higher number, but yes, I guess if you're gonna go shopping, stay away from that area, and hate to say that, because if you go to the mall to shop, we don't wanna keep business away from the mall, but.
Can you, during that time, can you make sure the city, kind of like the emergency response thing, but keep us notified?
I will.
We can, I would send it to all the commissioners, what's happening with that.
Will do.
All right, is that okay? All right. Great. We appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. You'll have your hands full.
Yes.
All right. Couple comments.
Brad Lomnick, Veronica Place. I'm also on the HRDB board. Scott Kennedy seemed to steal my thunder. During that that same exact meeting he was talking about, we were shown the final website that had these extra events on it that I don't remember the HRDB board recommending, and I don't remember the city council approving. And we actually made a motion, and it was voted and approved by the HRDB board to have it recommended to take those additional events off the website and have Powered by George Oliver taken off the website, where George Oliver came to say that it's his website, he owns it, and he's not taking it off, and nobody's gonna make him do it. So I don't know how a city-sponsored event is, gonna have these events on there that weren't approved by weren't approved for a recommendation by the HRDB board, nor approved by the city council to be put on there. And I would also ask a question is, if, Commissioner Oliver said he's paid for that website, I remember in previous HRDB board meetings where the planner was telling us she needed to, we needed to approve her and she needed to get paid, that the website was waiting for her to be paid to get it done. So I'm not sure who's paid for that, what funds have been done for that, but it seems there's some interesting things happening here, but I don't understand how there hasn't been a subcommittee meeting for the HRDB board in quite a while, so I don't know how 2 more events were added to the event without the, number one, the HRDB subcommittee meeting and approving it for recommendation, nor the HRDB board meeting approving it for recommendation. Excuse me, approving it for recommendation. So I don't know how that's done, and I'd like some answers on that. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any more public comments? We'll close that and go to comments from commissioners. Commissioner Farshman.
The HRDB board is starting to become very concerning. I'm hearing members that are on the board that don't know what's going on because they're not being communicated with by the other members of the board. We certainly up here aren't being briefed by the liaison or anyone else as far as schedule and what's happening. The 2 other events that were added, I was unaware of them just until a few days ago when I was told to look at the website. I've got a lot of questions. The disorganization, though, is really disconcerting. And so far, by approving the monies in the budget session to go to the HRDB, I fully intended to see that monies being used on a wider, broader scale, that all ethnic groups, all people in the city would be represented in some fashion and honored in some fashion, the way that we're doing the July Perry program. I think that after this program is over, maybe an audit is required to see where this money went to. I understand other monies is being solicited for sponsorships. We don't know anything about that, what's going on. So I think that after it's all over and done with, maybe an audit is in order, and we find out what's coming in, what's going out, who's handling that money, and who's getting paid. It's just getting really funky, and even the members of the HRDB aren't fully aware of what's going on. So that concerns me. I think we need to look into it and find out. I would still like to see a schedule of events that they have planned for the rest of 2022, 23, as far as how they're going to honor the other ethnic groups, the other groups that are within the city. I haven't heard anything about that yet, and I'm afraid to say that I suspect that after this event is over with, that may be it. We'll start working on this event for next year as well, and that's where the effort is going to be, and that's not what I approved that money for. So if that's the case, I might have second thoughts as far as that money remaining in their budget. That's all.
All right. Commissioner Benson.
All right, I'm also going to talk about advisory boards. And I'm going to talk a little differently about advisory boards because I'm going to talk about my experience. And this is not my personal view, this is my professional experience on advisory boards. On voluntary advisory boards, there's a difference between being a member of a voluntary advisory board and being a volunteer. When you're a member of a voluntary advisory board, most times you are required to take some action. You're required to do work on those voluntary advisory boards. In the case where I've sat on advisory boards, when I've had to make a commitment and a pledge even to raise personally $25,000 to $75,000 just to sit on that advisory board. So I had to do work when I sat on that advisory board. It was not because I was a volunteer, it's because I was a member of that volunteer advisory board. But I think there's our advisory boards here in the city. I think we've done a disservice to some of them, not all of them, but some of them. I've actually been at some of the advisory board meetings where I've heard people say that I'm not working because I'm a volunteer, and I think there's a misunderstanding of what the member of the advisory board is responsible for. And I think it's my contention that a member of the voluntary advisory board is there to come up with events, plan events, fundraise, execute those events, even partner with other advisory boards and other departments within the city to make that advisory board even more successful. So I'm a little taken back when I hear members of advisory boards saying that they didn't come to work or they can't make me do that because I'm a volunteer. You're a volunteer, but you are a member of an advisory board, which means you have responsibilities to that board, to your fellow board members, and to the city in which has actually appointed you to that board. If you cannot discharge those duties or feel like you shouldn't have to, maybe you should revisit your idea of sitting on a volunteer advisory board, being a member of the volunteer advisory board, because volunteers, you can volunteer for anything. You don't have to be a member of a board to volunteer. But being a member of a volunteer board is not the same as being a volunteer. That's what I have to say on that. The November election is coming up. Remember, go vote. Figure out who you're going to vote for, but make sure you go vote. It is important to vote because it's not just an election year, but it's just your civic duty to do so. You heard somewhat. I mean, it's good and bad as far as the DSNAP coming to the city of Ocoee. It's good for our residents because it's in our city, but you're going to have to exercise a great amount of patience when you're dealing with that area of the city during those 3 days. So be mindful of that. If you don't have to go that direction, find another direction, reroute yourself accordingly, because I think that could pose a problem because there seems to be a lot of people that may in fact descend upon our city to take advantage of those benefits that the estate is going to be handing out. As far as one of the commissioners mentioned that there should be an audit of the HRDB about how the funds are being spent, I find that to be funny because we've been, not necessarily me, but a lot of people have been calling for audits for a long time and they keep getting shot down for very similar reasons. So I welcome audits. I have no problem whatsoever with audits. I just want to be fair and across the board is what I have to say about that. As you mentioned, earlier today, we had a debrief on yard waste pickup. Again, if we haven't gotten to your community, be patient. We're working our way towards that. Right now, I believe Director Krug mentioned to us that in the next 3 weeks, they're looking at the completion of that pickup of yard waste. If you did not get to your community in that 3 weeks, believe me that we're coming your direction. We just gotta get over there. There's a lot of things that's happening in the city to include development, and so sometimes the schedule gets taken off the track a little bit. And with that, that's all I have.
All right. First, I would have to say, for the record, I agree with Commissioner Ferstner here. There should be an audit. And I believe that that's something that should happen immediately after this event. There should be a line item audit of every item that came in and every item that went out. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I also agree with Commissioner Brinson. That should be done across the board. So when we start looking at other advisory boards or other events that we put on, it should be audited as well. And I welcome an audit of how this money is being spent and how it's coming in. I've also heard my name about the website, and yes, I did purchase the website, not from my discretionary funds, not from city funds. It came out of my own pocket. And the only reason I did that because things were moving slow. We started this process a year ago, and we have certain members of the board that their mission is to slow things down. So in order to circumvent that, I purchased the website out of my pocket. Now, what I plan on doing with that website? Turn it over to the city. I've done it before. I purchased 50 West, the name 50 West, which for our CRA. I purchased that, and I turned that over to our city because things were moving slow. In order to protect our city, I purchased it, and I turned it over. The same thing will happen with Ocoee members. I purchased the name Ocoee members, so I plan on giving it back to the city so that we will own that particular domain name. So that's what's happening with that. That's why I say it's powered by George Oliver, but it will be turned over to the city. I do welcome an audit as well. As far as any events that I sponsored them solely as myself. So I did sponsor one event, so the actual descendants wanted to come out and do a meet and greet. So I sponsored an event to have them come out and do a meet and greet. So again, I spoke with the city staff about it several times. We've had some conversations about it, and the city staff went ahead and recommended and allowed me to go ahead on and continue to publish that event along with the other events for Ocoee members. We also have other events where we have many sponsorships. We have fishing tournaments, poker tournaments, all kind of different things that's sponsored by different people, different organizations. We allow those things to happen so we can raise funds and raise money so that we can actually take the burden off the citizens, take the burdens off the citizens and the taxpayers. So we're allowed to do those things. So the HRDB is operating under the same auspices as other events. So again, it's apples to apples, but some folks, again, want to slow things down, but that's their prerogative. It's okay, they can do that, but I welcome audit, and I think that should happen. Commissioner Brinson mentioned voting. Yes, we actually have our general election coming up, which is going to be November 8th, and early voting starts Monday, October 24th through November 6th. Citizens of Ocoee can vote at the West Oaks Mall, and you can also vote at the Supervisor of Elections Office on Cayley Street between those dates. If you need more information concerning early voting, you can contact the Supervisor of Elections Office at 407-836-2070. That's 407-836-2070. For the citizens that live in the north part of Ocoee, you've noticed off of McCormick Road that you've seen large piles of trash up there. It's yard waste, it is furniture, some of everything that folks have been affected by this particular hurricane. And the county has land up there. We have a wastewater management system up there off McCormick Road. They have opened it up to use it to dump trash, but they're actually using it. It is a temporary staging area. So they're separating the trash. They're actually bringing 3, 4, 5 trucks in a day, but they're also taking 3, 4, 5 trucks out at night. So it's only gonna be there temporarily. So over the next couple of months, just bear with them. I did speak to the county about it. And once the refuge has been transferred and moved out, it will go back to its normal purpose, and that is a wastewater management site. So if you have any questions about that, you can contact the county. You can also contact me, because I did speak with the site foreman on several occasions about how they're going to process this waste. Also, as you mentioned, the Ocoee Unity Festival is coming up Saturday, November 5th at Bill Breeze Park from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. More information will follow. It's also on the city's website. And finally, okay, we mentioned about the SNAPS program, which I actually want to get more information about this DSNAPS program, so I can actually put information out via Facebook or a website, so we can kind of talk about what that is and let citizens know what's the benefits of using this type of program if they have been affected by the hurricane. Finally, during my travels, I travel Delta Airlines quite a bit, and I stay at hotels quite a bit. And I find that I can find some of the most obscure, abstract type things like documentaries and short movies, short films, and some of them are kind of interesting. I ran across one recently, actually it was last month. There was a documentary by Anne Lamott. She's a writer. And she wrote a documentary about 12 truths she learned from life and writing. And she went down all of her 12 truths. And I thought that was pretty obscure. It was different, but it made me think. And I had to sit down and think about what are my truths? I don't have 12. I only came up with 5. And it took me over a month to kind of figure out what are my 5 truths and what are they? And this is what I came up with. Number 1, the truth is subjective. The sky is blue. Some may say it's gray. The grass is green. Some may say it's brown. Truth is subjective. Number 2, never take yourself too serious. Because sometimes you may be the butt of the joke. Number 3, never be afraid to laugh at yourself. Which brings me back to number 2. Never take yourself too serious. Number 4, perfection is never achievable. Never. And number 5, the truth is subjective. Thank you. I'll give it back to the mayor.
I was hoping you didn't forget me. We have a Veterans Day program coming up on Thursday, November 10th, 11 o'clock at the Lakeshore Center. Please mark your calendars. And I think I'm going to go ahead and continue from where Commissioner Firstner spoke. He spoke of the HRDV board. We've had a lot of discussions here over the last few months about the HRDV board. And then today, we get the resignation of Ms. Hart, who was the chairperson, bringing a lot of things to light as to what's been going on in the HRDV program, from her perspective, I'm sure. But the concern I have is that we have been going over this board for quite a while in the last few months, from the budget time when they asked for over $100,000 to run their programs, to having a person come up who's on the board saying they felt threatened. And that was very concerning to me, that no one should go and be on a board and feel threatened and feel unsafe. And kind of we start at this point where we've been going on and on about this, and then reading again what Ms. Hart wrote. I think it's time for maybe we, after this next event, to go ahead and bring this back, Mayor, as a item for the agenda to discuss what we can do, whether it's reorganization. She brought up some good points, saying maybe, again, rotating who is the liaison, and that kind of goes to all of our boards, rotating those. But I think it's something that maybe we should be putting on the agenda to review, because I'm very concerned regarding all the comments that have been made. When the very first time when someone came up and said they felt unsafe, that's a problem. And then, because leading on from what Mr. Brinson said, that, you know, when we volunteer for a board, we volunteer to help. To me, I've always when I was on a board, my intent was to help the department. I was on Park and Recreation Board for years, and when they had functions for us as members to help, we weren't there to run the department, we were there to help the department. And that's, to me, what we do when you are any board. I know when we go to the fire department, police department, whenever they have events, you find people who are on the board, they're helping. Either popping popcorn, handing out hot dogs, whatever. But that's, to me, what a volunteer does on a board. But I think at this point, hearing so much about HRDV, and it's a wonderful board, it's a wonderful program, when we're a very diverse community, and when we come out and have, like, besides the Julius Perry program that's gonna be happening early November, when you had the Asian American event that happened, I mean, we should be working with all of our different events that happen within the city. So I would like to ask if we could put that on the agenda to really review HRDV and maybe what direction it should take, or how we, as a commission, should be guiding the HRDV board. Whether it's reorganization, again, making it the best it can be, and making it a safe meeting for the folks that come, and not to have, again, some of the things we read from Ms. Hart's, her perspective of the board. So I, again, would like to review that.
All right. Are you through? No, you're not through.
I'm through. I think I said enough. Thank you.
All right. I was just checking with the council. We can consent it or vote on it to bring that up. So, you want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we add to the agenda within the next probably month. I don't know what the agendas are going to look like.
Holidays are coming up.
And the holidays are coming, maybe after the next one, because we want to wait till after this event is completed. But we should be going ahead and looking at reviewing HRDV, whether it's reorganizing, reviewing what is it, Scott?
Was appointed, and how many?
How many? I mean, many things. We should be going reviewing, I think, the HRDV program itself and moving from there. Sorry, I don't think I was very eloquent there, but.
Here, a second.
Second. Second.
Question.
Wait a minute, I'm talking.
Okay, go ahead.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Ferguson. Now, what's your comment?
The comment I have is it necessary that we take a vote as opposed to just adding it on the agenda? Because I believe that we put things on the agenda all the time without voting for it. We just put it on the agenda and we discuss it. So I'm trying to figure out what is the significance of actually voting to put something on the agenda when we just do it, we put things on the agenda all the time. I don't understand.
I think I feel better if it was a vote, just to know the direction, if the board wants to move forward and look at the HRDV for construction, or how, I'm not being very eloquent, I know. But the concerns that people have brought up, and we've been dealing with this for the last few months. I think it's time that we as a board to discuss it, but I guess I'm looking for reassurance.
But yeah,
If you want on, to add it to the agenda, that's fine.
I certainly agree, because you're right, when someone comes to the commission talking about they feel threatened, then I think the members that actually caused that threat should be dealt with. Those members should be dealt with, as opposed to looking at the board as a whole. Why not deal with the problem? As opposed to the board. The board, don't punish the board because two members have a problem. We look at the members and look at their temperament for that board, and maybe suspend those members, or we ask those members to resign from that board because a member felt threatened.
All right, I'm gonna speak.
Well,
All right,
that's her perspective.
Order. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna vote on it. Here's the thing. Exactly what you're talking about is what we'll be doing a discussion at the city commission meeting. That's when we'll discuss it. So we can vote on it. We'll vote on it, then we bring it to the commission meeting, and then that's when anybody will have public, we can have the public speak, we'll have the commissioners speak, then we'll decide. So, all right, I've got a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion is it'd be yes.
Yes, if you want to bring it back.
Yes, if you want to bring it back.
Item.
All right. Motion carries 4-1 with Commissioner Oliver voting no. All right, so you're done, right?
Yes.
And I get to talk. All right. Okay,
And Mayor, I didn't vote no because I didn't want it to happen. I only voted no because just to go through this didn't really make sense to me. I didn't even understand why
right.
we put it on why we had to vote to put it on the agenda. That's the reason I voted no.
all right. Well, everybody has a way to vote yes or no. That's one good thing about our country. All right. Couple things. I will tell you that, back to the debris, I have rode this town last week with my wife. Every subdivision that I could go in that wasn't a gated community, I went in. There is problems, but with getting the trucks, every time you put these bids out, they don't come, they take and give that bid to somebody else. They hire them out to somebody else to do the job. And that's where you run into the problems. They did this last time we had that storm. What they do is they bid on the contract and show their deal, then they sub it out to somebody else, which is, first day the guy came on this job, his truck hydraulics broke down. So, I mean, you wasted a day of getting this stuff picked up. So we rode, and the day I rode over to Orlando and started at, what is it, Hiwassee Road, or, not Hiwassee Road, but Pine Hills Road, and came back this way, and they're all there too. It's there, it's not just Ocoee, it's everywhere. So we're getting it, we're gonna pick it up. And the problem with the other, I've got some suggestions I'm gonna bring up to the legal day with the lawyer here and the city manager, and then we'll bring it to the commission. I think there's a way we can go at this thing and solve that problem that happened. And it's something that 4 of us voted on, 1 didn't. So that's okay. We can still work on straightening that out when we get to the point where we look at it, work on it, and fix it. And that's what I want us to do. Because I tell you, I ride around this city every day, all day. You follow me around if you want to in the truck. There is stuff put out that you wouldn't believe. It's just, but it's our fault because over the years, we've just picked it up. So now, it's just like if you feed that dog, he's going to come on and eat food. So that's what it is. We put it out. I seen a house up on the corner of Russell and Fluellen. They totally demolished the house inside. Everything. Even the sheetrock, the toilets, everything is out, piled beside the brush. So some of that stuff, it costs to dump this stuff. So please tell your friends and tell your neighbors that it's going to get picked up. We're getting it there because we're working to make sure that happens. And Craig Shadrick, our assistant city manager, filling in that, he's been working on that with Steve and him, and it's going to get fixed. So I'm looking forward to the high school. West Orange always does a football parade through downtown Winter Garden. So finally, we're going to get one to come through here, so that's good. I like that. On the audit thing about that other, I just want to tell you, this is a contract. Everybody wants to bring up different items we do. This is a contract for the Music Fest, which will go to the city manager, assistant city manager, and the finance department. This is what they turn in the bid on doing that stuff that other person's doing on the Remembrance Day. I have yet to see a contract. We give $17,000 out. Have yet to see one thing come back on the money on the stuff. We do not take $1 of this money till Music Fest is over. We turn in receipts. We turn in the things from the people who are doing it, like the stage, the sound system, everything turns in at the end. We give them the checks. But everything is accounted for. It has to be. And if you want to do an audit on it, I'm glad. Because this person, if you're going to get a person to do this stuff, they need to take and turn in a contract. We don't have a contract. So, and I think it's a great thing. That remembrance thing is going to be a good thing. It was a good thing 2 years ago when we did the original. It was great. A lot of people. So if you think about it, you just can't hand money out. You just don't. Now, I hope, and Commissioner Brunson, I heard you were down at the county asking for $50,000. Did you get it?
I did.
Huh?
Yes, I did.
You got it? So is that coming into the board to be used towards his expenses?
The county's going to disperse that money from invoices that are being submitted to the county.
From our event?
Yes.
But our event won't cost more than $30,000 or $40,000. So we're giving 50, and they're giving 50, that's 100. So how do we div it up? I'm
The-
just asking.
no,
I'm
I
glad
think that's
you're
a
gonna get
valid-
50, I appreciate it, because,
Well, yeah, you know,
but I'm saying, where does the money go?
I don't get into the counting of the dollars and cents, because that's not my area of responsibility this time. However, I'm under the impression that, whatever money is dispersed by the county, that money does not have to be dispersed by the city of Ocoee for the same thing.
No,
So-
I'm not asking, I'm just saying, if they're gonna pay for all the things that's happening, what about the $50,000 we get?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that $50,000 will be paying for.
Well, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, and that's HRDB or subcommittee,
I'd
whomever
like
is
the
doing
city-
that.
I'd like to see somebody on that board to come to the city and
There's a
tell us where that.
number right there.
We'll talk about it. That's $100,000. And I'm gonna be there, and I'm not gonna be at the two functions, but I'll be at this dinner, and I'll be at the Sunday. But I just wanna know, if they're gonna give you 50, which you say they are, which that's good. I wanna see where that 50 and our 50, $100,000 is gonna go. And if they're gonna write out bills, I'm gonna call Mayor Dennis and ask him about that
I
myself
don't
too.
think we gave 50, we gave 30.
We give 50 to that account. Yes, we give 50. But we told them we give them 32,000 to spend. But listen,
$32,000.
they're not doing anything different than what we've done before. There's no way you're gonna spend $30,000 or $40,000. No, it's just not. So I just said, is that money?
Again, bring an audit report and,
If they
do
don't,
the line items
well,
and let them do that.
let me finish, Commissioner. Okay? Take that money, let them pay that, they're gonna pay all that stuff, and we can keep $32,000 in that budget to use for the other things we do. Like Asian American, Cinco de Mayo, or whatever we
It
do.
depends on what the county's paying for them.
He just said they're gonna write out checks.
Yeah, but we don't know what they're paying for, we don't know what they're
That's
asking.
what I want, that's what I want to
When
see,
the
that's
county
the
told,
problem.
the 50 was for a city event, that's,
And then they said they partnered with us. That's not. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know who sent them down there. Somebody called me and said, matter of fact, I called for my commission.
When we have a music festival and you put partners up there, and then I don't know about the partners, but they just show up. So what's the difference?
Well, you know,
I'm
let me finish my 10 minutes.
Okay.
You interrupted me, and you're done. You did for 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, I have a question for you. Go
But
ahead.
we're gonna close the meeting when I'm done. Here's the deal. There's no partners, they're sponsors. They turn in $200,000 in sponsorship money to the city to pay for the music fest. No, they don't just send it up there and then somebody else gives another $100,000 and say, hey, here it is. All I'm asking is, and I appreciate you going down there, but ask for I wanna know what they gonna pay for. I wanna see what they're gonna pay for. If they pay for this event, and it will not cost $50,000. Then I wanna see where the other money's gonna go. That's all I'm asking. And that's for the citizens' benefit. Okay, all right, here's another thing, the lights in town have got to be correct. They have got to look at these lights on these projects around town, our light system. There's a lot of lights out. There's some dark areas in homes up on the Golf Course Road and places. And the parade's Thursday, 5:30 downtown Ocoee for the Ocoee football team. There's one other thing I wanted to say. But, so, I'm gonna give this to the staff, and they can look at it and then give it away, give it out. But, please, go up, and, I know what it was, now, Little League field, I have asked and asked, is that true? Well, here's the problem. Yeah.
no, that's in the other district.
But here's, the problem is, they're having these kids up there, we got, the other night I was up there, must be 200-300. You're talking about the football field and the whole thing, and there's cars coming by doing 60, 70 miles an hour, and we have got to put strips there. Now, on Rulis is the same thing, that's a straight away from the ball fields all the way down to Lakewood. I have asked about that and asked about it, and we talked about it during the budget. We put strips there. So we have got to put some kind of way to stop that before somebody gets killed.
That's, I'm gonna, that's one of mine, that is the street, it's the Welling and.
Yeah, okay.
And Counselor.
But I'm telling you, there's gotta be from coming up Ruiz some and coming up on the, on Little League field. And I will say, the other night at our Ocoee football field, High School Legacy had their homecoming, and I'm telling you, they had to be 500 to 700 people up there. We were out of parking, there wasn't nowhere to park. So, and that way, people are out on the street, they're coming by speeding. So we keep dealing with the speeding. One more place is Worth Road. I don't care how many tickets you give out, you better give more. And I hate folks, watch out when you're on Worth Road, because we need to write speeding tickets up there. So it is dangerous. You've seen them. Sorry, that's it.
Mayor.
We're gonna cancel, we're gonna adjourn the meeting. We'll be back on, what is the next 2 weeks?
Craig wants to say something.
Greg?
I was just going to say, we'll bring something back about, to address the traffic calming on Llewellyn, and if you will let us know where you're getting complaints about the lighting system, I'll have Steve do a check and get with Duke, and, you know, obviously, we've been prioritizing making sure the Christmas lights are going to work this year too, but we want to know if there's any problems with the lighting system in general, so if any of you have any issues, just let us know, send it to our office, and we'll address it.
There's one other thing. I went Saturday to the Indian IBA volleyball tournament. There was 200 men up there playing volleyball in that recreation building. They started at 8 o'clock in the morning and went to 9 o'clock at night. And I tell you, some of them, I don't know how they're out there doing that, but they were playing volleyball. And then I went over Saturday after I left there, I went to the out by the county courthouse across the street there. Past and Present's car show place. You've never looked, if you like to look at old cars, antique cars and old cars, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, go out there. They have 4 buildings with nothing but filled up with those cars. But they had a car show. They had over 125 cars out of that car show. The county let them park in the county courthouse, which was great. So they had a lot of people out there. So once again, we'll see you in October. November the 1st, but think about November the 1st, Commissioners, about Thanksgiving week with me on that, all right? Motion. Adjourned.